Do you believe that one of the biggest comedy movies of the 2000s actually hides more secrets than audiences ever saw on screen? From improvised scenes that made the entire cast and crew laugh so hard they could not continue filming, to controversial casting decisions, to a sequel that was once planned and then suddenly canceled. Every one of them has a story that very few people know. Today we are going to count down 20 insane facts about the classic fraternity comedy, Old School. Before we get started, do not forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you do not miss more exciting videos about classic Hollywood movies. Number 20. An Old School sequel almost happened in 2006 when Scott Armstrong wrote a follow-up script called Old School Dose. This time, the story would have followed the older fraternity members on a wild and chaotic spring break vacation. Luke Wilson was ready to return, but Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn did not want to come back. Ferrell admitted the script had some very funny scenes, but both of them felt the story was repeating what the first movie had already done. In the end, the project was canceled and Old School remained a standalone classic. Even though the movie never got a sequel, its spirit lived on in another way. Todd Phillips named his production company Green Hat Films. Many fans believe the name was inspired by Frank's famous line during the streaking scene, "Bring your green hat." Todd Phillips has never confirmed that, but the coincidence has led many people to believe it was not accidental. Later, Green Hat Films went on to produce many successful movies, including The Hangover and Joker. Number 19. The famous earmuff scene was completely improvised. One of the most memorable lines in Old School was actually never in the script. The earmuff scene was an idea Vince Vaughn came up with on the set. Before filming, Vince Vaughn and Will Ferrell spent a lot of time discussing how their characters would think and behave. Because Vaughn understood his character so well, he felt confident enough to improvise the moment when he told a young boy to cover his ears by saying, "Earmuff," before unleashing a string of profanity. Later, Vaughn confirmed that every line in the scene was improvised. From the word earmuff to the conversation that followed, none of it was in the original script. That natural performance made the scene much funnier and more believable. When the movie was released, audiences immediately loved the scene. Earmuff quickly became one of Old School's most iconic lines and has been quoted by fans for years afterward.
Max, can you earmuff it for me? We are gonna get so much ass here, it's gonna be sick. I'm talking like crazy, like boy band ass.
Number 18. Before making Old School, director Todd Phillips gained attention with a completely different project called Frat House in 1998. The documentary followed college fraternities and captured their brutal initiation rituals, from hazing to the challenges new members were forced to endure. The film won the Grand Jury Prize at the Sundance Film Festival, and HBO quickly acquired the broadcast rights. However, members of several fraternities in Muhlenberg College accused the filmmakers of staging some scenes. After the controversy grew, HBO decided to shelve the documentary, and to this day, Frat House has never been officially broadcast. But that was only the beginning. At Sundance, Ivan Reitman, the producer behind the legendary movie Animal House, watched Frat House and realized Todd Phillips was the right person to bring new life to fraternity comedies. The two later teamed up to make Road Trip in 2000 and continued their partnership on Old School. Ironically, it was the realistic and highly controversial look at college life in Frat House that paved the way for Old School, the 2003 comedy that would later become a beloved classic.
I don't know how you can still be depressed. This is probably the best thing that's ever happened to us. Us? Yeah, us. Look, do not get selfish on me here, okay? Now stay with me.
Number 17. The fraternity house was located at 1803 Bushnell Avenue in South Pasadena, a street well known in Hollywood history. Just a few houses away was Biff Tannen's home from Back to the Future Part 2. Nearby was also the house of George and Lorraine McFly in 1955 from the first Back to the Future movie. This single street has appeared in several Hollywood classics. What makes the story even more interesting is that Will Ferrell once claimed it was actually his house, a small craftsman-style home in Pasadena. He joked that after days of filming, the hardwood floors were scratched by camera equipment, and the Mitchapalooza party left such a huge mess that his wife was furious after the crew finally left. Because of that, the wild party scenes on screen were not just movie magic. They actually left real marks behind. The house became the setting for one of the most memorable scenes in the film. However, there is still one controversial detail. Property records suggest that Will Ferrell later sold the house, but whether it was truly his home during the filming of Old School or simply a humorous story he told in interviews has never been fully confirmed. Number 16. At first, the studio had serious doubts about casting Vince Vaughn as Beanie in Old School. After the success of Swingers, Vince Vaughn kept pursuing dramatic roles, most notably in the 1998 remake of Psycho. Because of that, DreamWorks believed he was better suited for serious characters and doubted he could win audiences over as a comedy actor. In an interview with Variety, Vaughn revealed that the studio executives never believed he had the ability to do comedy, but Todd Phillips strongly disagreed. In fact, Phillips and Scott Armstrong wrote the role of Beanie with Vince Vaughn as their first choice from the very first draft. He believed no one else could match Vaughn's confidence, quick wit, and natural charm. To convince the studio, Todd Phillips asked the executives to watch Vaughn's appearances on Late Show with David Letterman. During those spontaneous conversations, Vaughn displayed his natural comedic timing, quick reactions, and effortless charisma, proving that he had everything it took to be a great comedy actor. Todd Phillips stood firmly behind his decision, and in the end, he was right. Vince Vaughn not only won over audiences but also delivered one of the most memorable comedy performances of his career. All right, it is time for a quick question for you. If Old School could only be remembered for one moment, which scene do you think it would be? We will be reading every answer in the comments. While you are thinking about it, do not forget to like and subscribe to the channel, because the craziest facts are still coming up. Number 15. Rob Corddry is now a well-known comedy star, but Old School was actually his first feature film. At the time, Rob Corddry was still working as a correspondent for The Daily Show. His first role on the big screen came with a bold scene that left almost nothing to the imagination. To film the scene, he had to sign a special nudity clause. According to the agreement, the filmmakers had the right to use his nude image anywhere in the universe, in any form, including forms that had not yet been invented. Filming the scene was not easy either. Even though Rob Corddry wore a small modesty pouch for protection, his bare backside still appeared on screen. Just imagine being a first-time film actor and having to agree to a clause like that. That fearless moment became the starting point of Rob Corddry's memorable film career. Number 14. The restaurant in the movie has appeared in dozens of Hollywood productions. When Mitch takes Nicole out to prove that he is genuinely a good guy, they stop at a restaurant that many movie fans might recognize. It is Quality Cafe, located at 1236 West 7th Street in downtown Los Angeles. The location has appeared in many famous movies and television shows, including C7EN, Training Day, Ghost World, and many others. What makes it even more interesting is that Quality Cafe later stopped serving customers. Instead, it was preserved almost exactly as it was and became a filming location used exclusively by movie and television productions. Even after it closed, almost everything inside remained unchanged. That is why directors kept coming back to use this iconic Hollywood location. Around 2006, Quality Cafe officially closed for good, but on screen, the restaurant has continued to appear in dozens of movies, far more than most people realize. Number 13. There was no stunt double for the famous streaking scene. Will actually did it himself. Wearing nothing but a pair of running shoes and a small modesty pouch, he ran straight down a normal street in broad daylight, passing people who were walking their dogs. Ferrell recalled running past a 24-hour gym. The moment he dropped his robe, everyone inside screamed and rushed to the windows to watch, only to quickly turn away a few seconds later. To Ferrell, that reaction meant the scene worked exactly as intended. Interestingly, the drunken behavior in the scene was not entirely acting. In an interview, Ferrell admitted that he had a little alcohol to calm his nerves before filming. He later joked that standing naked next to Snoop Dogg was more terrifying than anything else. However, reports do not fully agree on how much Ferrell actually drank before the scene. Some sources say he only had a small drink to ease the tension, while others claim he drank much more. Either way, that fearless streaking scene became one of the most iconic and talked about moments in Old School. Number 12. By 2003, Will Ferrell was ready for a major turning point in his career. For 7 years, he had been one of the funniest performers on Saturday Night Live, but he still had not landed the leading movie role that would establish him as a film star. In 1998, while he was still on SNL, Ferrell appeared in A Night at the Roxbury. However, it was not until Old School was released in February 2003 that his movie career truly took off. This was Will Ferrell's first leading role after leaving Saturday Night Live. About 10 months later, Elf was released and quickly became a box office sensation, officially making him one of Hollywood's biggest comedy stars. It is fair to say that 2003 completely changed the course of his career. Interestingly, even critics who did not enjoy Old School still praise his performance. Roger Ebert gave the movie only 1 star, yet admitted that Will Ferrell was easily its biggest highlight. He was especially impressed by Frank the Tank, a man who constantly loses control and is always ready to take off his clothes whenever he gets too excited. Ferrell's fearless, over-the-top performance and his willingness to make himself look ridiculous created some of the movie's most unforgettable moments and laid the foundation for the signature comedy style that would define his Hollywood career for years to come. Number 11. Todd Phillips had a very clever plan to get Snoop Dogg into the movie. He knew that Snoop Dogg really wanted to play Huggy Bear in the Starsky and Hutch remake. Instead of simply offering him a role, Todd Phillips made a deal that was hard to refuse. He told Snoop that he would cast him as Huggy Bear, but in return, Snoop had to appear in Old School. The deal was quickly accepted, and Snoop officially joined the movie before reuniting with Phillips in Starsky and Hutch. Even though it was only a cameo, Snoop Dogg created one of the most memorable moments in Old School. He played himself at the Mitchapalooza party, bringing an electric atmosphere and helping push the party's chaos to the next level. One of the movie's most memorable lines comes when Frank excitedly shouts, "Come on, Snoop! Snoop-a-loop! Bring your green hat!"
Come on, Snoop! Snoop-a-loop! Snoop! No, it's cool, it's cool, I'm cool. Bring your green hat, let's go!
Number 10. Luke Wilson was accidentally left out of Snoop Dogg's party. After a day of filming, Snoop Dogg unexpectedly threw an impromptu party inside his trailer. He invited several cast members and crew to play video games, hang out, and enjoy the evening together. The atmosphere inside the trailer was full of energy. Everyone was laughing, talking, and having a great time. But while the party was in full swing, Vince Vaughn suddenly stepped away to see where Luke Wilson was. What he found made everyone laugh. Luke Wilson was sitting alone in his trailer, quietly watching the evening news. No one had remembered to invite him to Snoop Dogg's party. It was only a small moment, but it perfectly reflected both Luke Wilson's personality and his character, Mitch, in Old School. While Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn were always at the center of the chaos, Luke preferred to stay calm and low-key. That quiet personality made him the perfect balance for the movie, both on-screen and behind the scenes. Number 9. The idea for Old School began with a very simple conversation. Todd Phillips had a friend in the advertising business named Court Crandall. After watching one of Phillips' documentaries, Crandall casually said one day, "You know what would be really funny? A movie about grown men starting their own fraternity." That one offhand comment became the seed for Old School. Court Crandall was later credited with helping create the story. From that original idea, Todd Phillips teamed up with Scott Armstrong to develop the screenplay. The two spent about 2 months working at Ivan Reitman's house, gradually turning the concept into the classic comedy audiences know today. Todd Phillips later described that period as a comedy writing boot camp, where every idea was constantly tested and refined. Meanwhile, Scott Armstrong drew from his own experiences as a fraternity member in college in Peoria. He remembered how the long, cold winters and endless boredom inspired people to come up with all kinds of crazy ideas, and those memories helped shape the unique comedy that made Old School so memorable.
Fraternity solves both of those, right?
But this is my house. I live here, Beanie. I'm 30 years old. None of us are enrolled in the college.
Okay, I understand.
Makes no sense.
Yeah,
Number 8. Patrick Cranshaw did not become famous until he was in his 80s. The actor who played Joseph Blue Pulaski in Old School had a career unlike almost anyone else in Hollywood. Patrick Cranshaw spent decades working in the industry, appearing in nearly 100 movies and television shows. He began acting in the 1950s and appeared in well-known productions such as Bonnie and Clyde, where he played a nervous bank clerk, and Best in Show, where he portrayed an eccentric dog owner. Even with such a long and steady career, he never became a widely recognized name. Everything changed when Old School was released. In his 80s, Patrick Cranshaw unexpectedly became a pop culture icon thanks to his role as Blue and the unforgettable line, "You're my boy, Blue." With only a few minutes of screen time, he created one of the most memorable moments in the entire movie. From then on, wherever he went, fans would enthusiastically shout that famous line whenever they saw him. For many actors, success comes early. But for Patrick Cranshaw, it took more than half a century of acting before the spotlight finally found him. Sadly, Patrick Cranshaw passed away in 2005. However, he left behind an iconic performance that proved the biggest opportunity in a career can sometimes arrive when no one expects it.
Yes, sir.
Do you trust that I do not want to see you die here tonight?
Sir, yes, sir.
Blue, you're my boy!
Thank you, sir.
Number 7. Harrison University, the college you see in the movie, is not a real school. The beautiful aerial shots of the campus were actually filmed at Harvard University. What makes it even more interesting is that Todd Phillips did not shoot any new footage. He reused the same Harvard aerial shots from Road Trip, the movie he directed in 2000. But if you look more closely, you will notice that the ground-level scenes were not filmed at Harvard at all. Most of those scenes were shot at UCLA and USC, two well-known universities in California, and were carefully combined to create Harrison University on screen. The surprises do not end there. Do you remember Frank's wedding scene in Old School? That sequence was filmed at Westminster Presbyterian Church in Pasadena. And if the church looks familiar, it is not a coincidence. Just 2 years later, the same location appeared in Wedding Crashers, where Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson crashed a wedding in the unforgettable way that only they could. Number 6. A famous political strategist made a surprising appearance in Old School. The debate scene near the climax of the movie featured a cameo that few people expected. Frank's opponent was not an actor, but James Carville, the famous Democratic political strategist, playing himself. The funny part is that Frank was so drunk he had almost completely lost his senses. Yet somehow he still won the debate with an answer that stunned the entire audience, even though he could not remember what he had said afterward. Todd Phillips has always enjoyed bringing well-known personalities into his movies to surprise audiences. That is why, in addition to James Carville, the film also features appearances by Snoop Dogg, Warren G., and Bishop Don Magic Juan. Even Andy Dick makes an appearance without being credited in the opening cast. He plays the instructor leading the fraternity initiation rituals, creating one of the movie's most chaotic and ridiculous scenes. Number 5. The band that tore apart Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart with improvised profanity was the Dan Band. Leading the group was Dan Finnerty, the man who turned the Dan Band into a sensation in Hollywood nightclubs. They became famous for their hilarious and outrageous performances, transforming hit songs by female singers into profanity-filled versions with improvised lyrics. Many viewers assumed it was a performance created specifically for Old School. In reality, the Dan Band had been performing in this style for years and had already built a loyal fan base. Dan Finnerty's comedic talent caught Todd Phillips' attention and led to a collaboration that lasted for years. Finnerty, the husband of actress Kathy Najimy, gradually became a familiar face in Phillips's movies. After Old School, he went on to appear in hit films such as Starsky and Hutch and The Hangover, always performing in his own unmistakable style. So if you are watching a Todd Phillips movie and suddenly see a singer in a bar turning a familiar love song into a performance that is both hilarious and completely outrageous, there is a good chance it is Dan Finnerty and the Dan Band. Number 4. While Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn fully embraced the movie's wild comedy, Luke Wilson remained calm and steady throughout. He played the straight man, the calm and serious character whose job was to make everyone around him even funnier. It is one of the most difficult roles in comedy because if the performance is too restrained, the character fades into the background. But if it is too exaggerated, the balance is lost. Luke Wilson pulled it off almost perfectly. His performances were so consistent that most of his scenes were completed in a single take, including the scene where Mitch returns home at the beginning of the movie. Because of that, the cast and crew gave him the nickname One Take Wilson as a compliment to his precision and natural acting. Both Todd Phillips and Scott Armstrong believe that Luke Wilson was the person who kept Old School grounded amid all the outrageous situations. Armstrong said Luke naturally carried a sense of quiet insecurity, something director Wes Anderson had already used so effectively in Bottle Rocket and Rushmore. That quality made Mitch feel relatable and believable, while giving Will Ferrell and Vince Vaughn the freedom to push their comedy to the limit. That is why many people consider Luke Wilson to be the anchor of Old School. He may not have delivered the biggest laughs, but he was the key reason why everyone else's comedy worked so well and became so memorable. Number 3. Terry O'Quinn kept his role in Old School a secret from his own family. 1 year before becoming famous as John Locke in Lost, Terry O'Quinn had a small but memorable role in Old School. He played Goldberg, Mitch's boss, in an uncredited role that took only 2 days to film. The job happened so quickly that he never talked much about it. Most audiences probably never realized Terry O'Quinn appeared in the movie, especially since his screen time lasted only a few moments. But what is even more surprising is that Terry O'Quinn never told his own sons that he had appeared in Old School. Imagine their reaction while watching the movie and suddenly seeing their father on screen. They were so shocked that they immediately called him, asking in complete surprise why he was in the film. Isn't that one of the hidden gems of movie history? Number 2. The Wolfpack existed before The Hangover. Long before the name Wolfpack became iconic in The Hangover, it was already being used on the set of Old School. Will Ferrell, Vince Vaughn, and Luke Wilson gave themselves the nickname Wolfpack. They quickly became close through constant joking, playful teasing, and spending time together throughout the filming. Luke Wilson was often the group's favorite target. Will Ferrell especially loved teasing Luke about his role in Legally Blonde, even jokingly calling the movie Legally Bland just to make him laugh. Of course, Luke Wilson did not let that slide. He fired back with a witty remark, telling Ferrell that he should keep one foot in television just in case the movie career doesn't work out. Looking back, the exchange became even funnier. Not long after Old School, Will Ferrell became one of Hollywood's biggest comedy stars, while Luke Wilson continued building a successful film career of his own. In the end, those jokes became nothing more than a great memory shared by 3 friends in the Wolfpack. Number 1. Old School unexpectedly brought together a remarkable group of future stars. The fraternity in the movie may look like nothing more than a group of ordinary guys, but if you watch closely, you will recognize several familiar faces. Simon Helberg, who would later become famous as Howard in The Big Bang Theory, appears as Jerry. Next is Patrick J. Adams. Long before he became Mike Ross, the brilliant lawyer in Suits, he had only a small role named Patch. It is hard to believe, but at the time, these were nothing more than minor roles played by actors that almost nobody knew. Just a few years later, they had all become major stars. Then there is Ellen Pompeo as Nicole, the woman Mitch falls in love with. She played the role just 2 years before becoming Meredith Grey in Grey's Anatomy. It turns out that Old School unexpectedly became a launching pad for several future stars, something very few people realized when the movie was first released.
We can only buy KY jelly in the 4-ounce tubes. Industrial-sized cans will take up to 3 to 4 business days minimum, so we're screwed.
What's all that for?
It's Blue's birthday. We're having a KY wrestling match.
That wraps up our countdown of 20 insane facts about Old School, the movie that became an icon of fraternity comedies and has kept audiences laughing for more than 2 decades. Now we want to hear from you. Which fact surprised you the most? And what is your favorite scene from Old School? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We read every comment and would love to hear what you think. If you enjoy videos about weird facts and behind-the-scenes secrets from classic Hollywood movies, do not forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another exciting video. Thank you for spending your time with us. We wish you good health, lots of happiness, and we will see you in the next video.